Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Upkick MMA, episode 411. I am Brendan. UFC Fight Night, Lemos versus Jandiroba. Sorry, that's about as excited as I can get for it. We're going to talk about the fight night. We're going to talk about the main card, talking about all the fights on the card, break them all down round by round. If you like this kind of thing, subscribe to the channel. The way they know this video is coming out, I'd appreciate it. Let's get into some fights. Also, due to some recent advice, I'm going to give my take on the card as a whole right now. All right. So this card had more excitement in it, more finishes, moved at a quicker pace for the most part. Right. The whole card, prelims included. Caveat: most of the fighters are not people that most people care about. Okay, so did this have a lot of implications on things going forward as far as the main event? Yes. As far as like some other fighters getting in the top 15, possibly yes. But really, what was this doing? I mean, it's just one of those ones. It's a scheduled fight for the UFC. They got to do it. They have a production schedule. They have a broadcast schedule. They got to keep it. So that's what this one felt like. Turned out okay. Right? I think that this card was pretty good. There's nothing wrong with this card. If you're into this kind of thing, if you're more of a hardcore fan, go and watch this stuff. There was actually some really good fights on this card. So I've said that enough. All right, let's talk about the first fight, or the main event of the night. Okay. Amanda Lemos taking on Virna Jandiroba. Jandiroba's, she's a good grappler, right? Better than most of the women in this division at grappling. But she's not the best all-around fighter. And here's the thing, she's also not the best grappler. It's like, for example, Mackenzie Dern. Mackenzie Dern is a better jiu-jitsu artist. She's a better grappler, I would say, in general, than Jandiroba is. And she gave her fits. She was able to. I don't think she finished her, right? No, it was a 3-round decision. She was able to control her for a majority of the fight and really give her fits. And when Jandiroba can't get her game going, that's what happens. The problem is that not a lot of people, or in her favor, not a lot of people can stop her, right? Against Amanda Hebos, she stopped her from taking her down, but Angela Hill couldn't really stop her from taking her down, but that wasn't the most exciting fight. Total strikes 21-14. Not a lot going on there. Marina Rodriguez, same thing. Lupe Godinez, not a lot of excitement there either. But that's what I'm saying. Like, she doesn't get a ton of finishes until this night, but she does enough and she's good at it enough that it stops people from getting their game going. We'll see what happens if Brendan said that, oh man, she might have just punched her ticket for a UFC a title fight. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Hopefully Suarez is healthy. I think she's the shoe-in for a title shot. Yan Xiaonan, Amanda Lemos coming off this loss, probably not. And then Jandiroba, okay, I could see it. I think that Tatiana Suarez, who is undefeated, might have a bit to say about that. Oh, we didn't even talk about the fight. Sorry. It's because it was a lot of grappling, right? So Jandiroba goes right for the takedown. At 420 gets it. And then she gets stuck in the guillotine, not much there. Lemos gets back up, and then they scramble reverse, and Jandiroba with the knee bar attempt, and then Lemos with the toe hold, and then Jandiroba goes for the heel hook. Those weren't really there. They were just kind of like to put pressure on him, to make him move. It was just so fast, very cool to watch. Fun grappling exchanges. Jandiroba had better control in that round with little to no damage from either fighter. I mean, this is how her fights go, right? Total strikes in this fight were what? 2-2? I mean, it did end in the second round, but 2-2? Not a lot of striking. Tentative start for this second round. Then Jandiroba goes to the takedown at 315. She gets it and gets the back at 150. Finally, and then tries for the rear naked choke, can't get it, and then gets the armbar finish. Beautiful grappling. There is nothing wrong with watching her grapple. She's excellent at it. I don't want to shit on her. She is far, far more advanced and more entertaining to watch than most of the crap that we see when it comes to going onto the ground. Most people, when they get to the ground in the UFC, just have little to no expertise, experience, comfortability, whatever it is, and they end up just laying there and holding the other person down, right? And that is not what we got here. Jandiroba was going for the finish. He was working for it. Was it the most entertaining for your average viewer? Probably not. But I think she's great. But, you put her in there with, if she gets the title, then you can immediately throw Mackenzie Dern in there, and Mackenzie Dern will beat her again. All right, Steve Garcia taking on Seung Choi. There's a lot of fights like this. A lot of firefights. Choi's throwing hard, throws a hard low kick that knocks him off balance, which is pretty cool. When he stands on the outside, he can land really hard. And as I'm typing this down, like Garcia fires back and gets him wobbled, then follows up with 5 strikes to the back of the head. You can say they're in transition or whatever. But then that fight's over. Steve Garcia hits fucking hard, man. Hey, how about a fight that went the distance? Kurt Holobaugh versus Kaynan Kruschewsky. I want to see the scorecards for this one because I don't know who scored it which way. Holobaugh gets the clinch in the pressure, presses him to the fence. Holobaugh finding the 1-2 when they separate, and then a nice low kick, and then back to the clinch. Kruschewsky, he just doesn't look comfortable out there, which is weird because he's the better striker. And he's landed a few shots, and when he was landing, he outlanded him in this first round, 31-26. It's just, I thought, I gave him this first round. He looked so uncomfortable on the feet, so tense. I don't know. It looked weird. He found more success in the clinch down the stretch. I thought he pulled it out. I thought he won this first round. He did outstrike him 31-26, and that's pretty much all that was going on. So you can't really, if you want to give Holobaugh credit for controlling him against the cage for 2 minutes, but that's not how I see it. And I don't think Holobaugh landed so much good damage that he could take that easily. Second round here. Kruschewsky's the one pressing forward now, throwing hard. Holobaugh still finding the mark as well. Kruschewsky keeps going guillotine. Why does he keep doing this? And then he keeps going, and then he goes from guillotine ninja choke. They do get Holobaugh to the ground, but he doesn't follow up with it and use it to do anything. Holobaugh staying in his face, landing elbows and knees. They're standing and trading sloppy hooks, and Holobaugh finally gets the better of it with 55 seconds left with Kruschewsky finally getting wobbled. Holobaugh hurts him and then goes takedown. Why? Anyway, still wins this round, 48-36 on the striking numbers, and 19-19 going to the third round on my card. And then, again, both guys finding the mark, looking to clinch and then repeat. Find the mark, look, get the clinch, repeat. Kruschewsky gets a takedown, finally back up with 2:55 left, and Kruschewsky gets a takedown, but this time gets reversed, and then Holobaugh ends up on the back to end the fight. Hard to call this one, because in this last round, look at this. The control time, 156-157. I am not crazy here. 18-22 for striking numbers. Damn close. All right? The thing is, when he did have control, Holobaugh did more stuff with it. Right? I felt like he was actually going for the finish when he had that. Kruschewsky had 8 significant strikes on the ground in this round? I don't remember that. I feel like Holobaugh did more groundwork, so I gave him this last round, giving him the fight 29-28. If you went the other way, I totally understand it. I am looking for scorecards here. Here, I got it. Oh, no, I must have been off. First 2 rounds they gave to Holobaugh, and then the last round they gave to Kruschewsky. Honestly, I almost gave this fight to Kruschewsky. I thought Kruschewsky won this first round. I don't think this was a bad scorecard. Man. Salty Motto, Adelaide, Durden, and Anthony Manis all gave the first 2 rounds to Holobaugh. Okay, All right. I thought Kruschewsky won that first round. And like I said, that last round was pretty close, but I leaned towards Holobaugh because I felt like he did more at the end. I even said I think it's recency bias because he did more at the end of the round. Cody Durden taking on Bruno Silva. This one, again, entertaining fight. Real fun to watch. Durden kicking to the body and Silva going to the legs. There was, a lot of action in this. Even like the grapple, like everything was high paced. Durden with the pressure, Silva finding the mark with those fast 1-2s. Durden sitting down on his shots. Apparently an eye poke from Durden as he slapped him. There was an eye poke in there. Holy shit, they just run at each other after they break for a second. Durden making him pay, just landing more. He outlanded him 24-22. Landed with more power for sure in this round. Silva needs to keep his activity high. Quick enters and exits, and those low kicks really could work for him. I saw a path to victory doing that, but then immediately in the second round, Durden lands a hard right hand, and Silva's wobbly looking for the takedown, but ends up in the front headlock sequence going Darce, Anaconda, guillotine, that kind of stuff. They finally get back up with 2:20 left, and Silva lands a big right uppercut, and that little thing right there was enough to turn the tide, and he ended up getting the finish off of that. Do I think he was winning that fight? No. Do I think he wins that fight skill for skill? No. It's just one of those things. That's an MMA moment right there. Anything can happen. Durden looked like he was walking away with that one. And it's just, you could call it a momentary lapse of concentration. You can call it a lucky punch. I don't think it's lucky. But I thought it was, he was doing great. Choi versus Bill Algeo. Again, another banger. Algeo goes takedown, but Choi gets a deep guillotine attempt, and then they get back up at 4:15. Choi gets a great trip and works his way to the back with a rear naked choke attempt that Algeo waves off. Algeo pressuring in with Choi, swings and misses, and then Algeo landing one of the hardest spinning elbows I have ever seen right to the bridge of the nose, and Choi just takes it and keeps moving forward. I mean, obviously we're all familiar, for those of you guys out there who aren't familiar with this, but most of us should be familiar with the Cub Swanson, Choi masterpiece that they put on. Go back and watch that. One of the best fights ever. If you ever want to introduce someone to MMA who's never seen a fight before, show them that fight. Show them that fight. It will get them pumped. Choi with the front headlock and landing knees to Algeo's head and then dives guillotine again. Algeo did more damage and had more control in this round, I felt, despite the guillotine attempts. Right, if you look here and the rear naked choke attempt, 3 minutes and 2 seconds of control time to 1 minute of control time, plus he did outland him 6-5. Those sub attempts were not close to finishing, right? Like they were tight, but not close to finishing. And if you know anything about those positions, it was not close to being finished. So I gave that first round to Algeo, 10-9. Second round here, Choi has such a bad habit of leaving his hands at the target after he throws. So when he throws, he likes to go like this and bring it down, right? He likes to punch and then bring it down and then circle his way back up here eventually. And Algeo is taking advantage of it. Choi gets to the legs and a hard right body. Like he was kicking the legs really hard, going to the body hard with the straight right hand. And then Algeo's starting to slow down a bit, and Choi landing that hard left hand, and he lands another one, and Algeo wags his finger and says no more. Meaning, I think like he like waved and then grabbed his eye. Probably could be like a broken orbital bone. Could be a lot of things. Good win for Choi. I am curious. Wow, he hasn't had a win since 2016. Wow. Hasn't fought in a year after he took 4 years off. Man, 8 years since he won. 8 years. Holy shit. July of 2016 is the last time he had a win. Wow. Good for him. Good for him. Another one of these. Good grief. Boy. Jeong Lee versus Hyder Amil. I'm not even going to pull stats up for this. Actually, no, I will. Because it did not last very long. Okay, well, these stats cannot be correct. 42-40. Lee landed more than 4 strikes. Come on now. I don't know who kept this one. These guys are twitchy. Amil finding the mark with a huge right hand and Lee moving into the clinch. They fire back and forth, landing hard, and Amil gets rocked, right? So Lee finds the mark, and then Amil finds the mark. They fire again. They go back and forth, and they just stand there, rock'em sock'em robot style. Lee gets rocked. Then he hits Amil. Amil gets rocked in there again, and then he fires back, and he knocks out Lee. Just not a lot of skill in there, not a lot of expression of skill, just real fast, and holy shit. Oh, man. Yeah, that was fun to watch. I'm always for, a technical battle and stuff, but if you give me a slugfest like that, I'll watch it. Like I said at the top of this, overall, this card was fun to watch. It's a breeze to get through. If you're not into the UFC as far as like just watching it to watch the sport and you're really only interested in the names, maybe it's not in your cup of tea, but it could get you into it. So I do recommend going back and checking this one out if you haven't. There are a lot of fun fights in here. So I appreciate y'all for stopping by. If you did like this, can you subscribe to the channel? Huh? Could you? No, I'm just kidding. No, it does help me out, and it'll give you a notification letting you know that when I post. And then if you like the video, hit the like button. I'd appreciate that. And then I hope you guys have an amazing week. Love y'all. Peace.